Stop! What are you doing?
Why?
Do you know that this animal is dangerous?
Then where is this animal?
Orangutan or Pongo pygmies are the largest tree-dwelling animal in the world. They are also the second largest non-human great ape after gorillas. Bornean orangutan have average lifespan around 50 years old to 59 years old. For female Bornean orangutan, they are said to have around 40 kg and height around 110 cm. Meanwhile, for male Bornean orangutan, they are said to have weight around 80 kg and height around 130 cm. But for dominant male Bornean orangutan, they are more heavier, which is 120 kg. Around 15 to 20 years old, male Bornean orangutan tend to grow flanges that protrude forward. Why? This is because these flanges always the one that female Bornean orangutan find attractive. Bornean orangutan are larger than Sumatran orangutan. They have darker fur of an often maroon or dark red color. They also have wider faces. Bornean orangutan are perfectly adapted to life in the tree. They have forearms that are incredibly long and strong with flexible shoulder joints. Bornean orangutan didn't have the ability to swim, and they are frugivorous, which means they are primarily eat fruit. Orangutan live in a lowland and hilly tropical and subtropical rainforest. They are arboreal and rarely descend to the ground. From our research, we get to know that Bornean orangutan are found on the Southeast Asia islands of Borneo and generally inhabit swampy and hilly tropical rainforests. They have patchy distribution throughout the islands and is completely absent from the Southeast region. The fossil evidence suggests that Bornean orangutan were once widespread throughout the Southeast Asia and evenly distributed across the entire island of Borneo. But due to illegal logging and the destruction and conversion of tropical forests for agricultural land purpose, this once expansive range has decreased dramatically.
Oh, this is orangutan. Why the life of orangutan important? Why the life of orangutan matter? You know, orangutan are frugivores and play a vital role in the dispersal of seed over a huge area. If orangutan were to disappear, so would several tree species, especially those with larger seeds. This particular tree could not reproduce, and other animals that depends on them would be affected as well. Thus, if orangutan went extinct, many species in forest as well as the human who depends on the forest could also die. Most of the time, fruits makes up about 60% of orangutan diets, including lychees, mangosteen, mangoes and figs. They also eat young leaf, shoots, insects, soils, tree barks and occasionally eggs and small vertebrates. Water comes from food as well as tree holes. Nevertheless, it might just be the orangutan that is an important key to conserving a high proportion of these endangered species.
There are two problems faced by the orangutan species. The first one is due to the disappearing orangutan forests. Orangutans depend on intact forests for their survival. The loss of vast forests is the main reason why the Bornean orangutan population is declining. Intensive logging and rapid development of lowland and peat swamp forests for oil, palm and pulpwood have severely destroyed, degraded and fragmented orangutan habitat. International demand for tropical timber and pulpwood fueled a logging boom in equatorial Borneo. Malaysia Borneo forests have been ravaged by logging and conversion to monoculture plantations. Between 1990 and 2009, logging and deforestation for oil palm and timber plantations left just 22% of Sabah and Sarawak with unlocked forests. The second reason is because of illegal wildlife trade. Young orangutans are in demand for a flourishing pet trade, with each animal fetching several $100s in city markets on nearby islands. It is concluded that at least 200 to 500 Bornean orangutans were being traded annually in Indonesia. Because mothers are killed to obtain infants, these findings mean that at least 400 orangutans were removed from the wild to supply the trade. More recent studies suggest that Bornean orangutan trade levels have remained high. This represents a real threat to wild orangutan populations, as orangutans have an extremely low reproductive rate.
There's a lot of action taken for conservation of Bornean orangutan. One of it is ex situ conservation. Ex situ conservation is conservation activity by removing the species from its natural habitat. This method is to protect the endangered species in different natural environment as their natural environment as possible. For example, the Orangutan Island in Perak. The Orangutan Island had become the research institution. Other than that, this island is a sanctuary dedicated to the preservation and research about the orangutan. Plus, this island had become the most unique ecotourism now. Other than ex situ, conservation by initiative activities and programs by NGO, non-government organisation. One of the NGO is Malaysian Palm Oil Green Conservation Foundation. This foundation had launched several initiatives focusing on Bornean orangutan to protect and preserve the species. One of the programs they do is 1 million tree planting. The purpose of this program is to restore the natural habitat of orangutan. This program is a collaboration of Malaysian Palm Oil Green Conservation Foundation, Sabah Forestry Department and Kampung Tampenau local community that supply high survival seedling for this 10-year mega project. These fast-growing trees have been planted within Ulu Segama Malua Forest Reserve in Lahad Datu, where 2,500 hectares area provides crucial habitat for orangutan and pygmy elephant. Other than that, this foundation also founded and funds Wildlife Rescue Unit. This is because this Wildlife Rescue Unit had actively saved wild creatures including orangutan in Sabah. This Wildlife Rescue Unit had rescued, treated and released 61 orangutan into their natural habitat in 2010 to 2020. Last but not least, this foundation also sponsored 1.1 million ringgit for upgrading the Bornean orangutan enclosure at Zoo Negara.
There are plenty of ways to enhance the conservation of Bornean orangutan in Malaysia. First, local authorities can carry out reforestation programs. This is to support reforestation initiatives to restore and expand Borneo orangutan habitats and create ecological corridors to connect isolated populations. Besides reforestation programs, the government can also enforce stronger legal protection for Borneo orangutans and their habitats to prevent illegal hunting or trading of these endangered species. These measures can help protect Borneo orangutans and their ecosystem, ensuring a brighter future for these endangered species. Besides government, teachers should also educate students to raise awareness about conservation issues. By doing so, the younger generations will grow to be more responsible in conserving the endangered species, including Borneo orangutan.
Wow, that's a lot of information. Thank you for sharing.